What's going on, guys? Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Amigoscode. In this video, I'm going to teach you about Project Lombok and Java records. So Project Lombok allows us to remove a lot of boilerplate code. So setters, getters, default constructors, arg constructors, equals, hash code, toString, and basically we can have a class that looks very clean. And then on the other hand, we have the Java record. So this is a new feature whereby you can kind of do pretty much everything that Lombok does, but these records, they're mainly used for immutability. As soon as you need a class or a Java bean that doesn't require the fields to be final, then you can't use the Java records. So this is why I'm teaching you about both. So Lombok and Java record. And so that you know, Java records doesn't really replace Lombok. So let me know whether you have used them. What's your thoughts about it? I would love to hear from you. Without further ado, let's kick off this video.
Right, let me go ahead and teach you about Lombok, which you will probably use and see people using around. So Lombok is a library that automatically plugs into your editor, and basically it allows you to write your getter, equals, setters with just one annotation or many annotations. If you're new to my channel, go ahead and subscribe. And also, I would love you to comment down below and let me know whether you've used Lombok in the past and what you think about it. Comment down below. So let me go ahead and quickly show you how to install it, and then we'll experiment with some of these annotations, which will make our classes look much cleaner. So let's go ahead, and in here, what we're going to do is we're going to open up the pom.xml. And right here, we have a bunch of dependencies. And here, what we're going to do is add yet another dependency. So dependency, and this will be Lombok. So Lombok, hopefully we get auto completion there. So Lombok, and we actually don't get auto completion. That's fine. So that'll be Lombok, and then the group ID is org dot and then project and then Lombok. So actually we now get auto completion. Funny. So now, and this actually even picked it up. So if it's red for you, you know what to do. Go ahead and right click and then Maven and then reload project. And then that should resolve the dependencies for you. So now that we have Lombok installed, next let's go ahead and learn how to use it in our project. Right, to use Lombok, let's go ahead and open up our Java beans. So our models, so that's what we are after. And this is where Lombok does help us. So in here, let's open up the customer class, and right here, you see that we have this customer class. And if I scroll down, have a look. We have this constructor. We have this empty constructor. We also have these getters. And we also have the toString. So you can see that this is actually some boilerplate code which we can get rid of. And that's what Lombok allows us to do. So you saw that many times that when I added a new field right here, so if I say private and then string and then surname, for example, now I need to go and basically delete this and then say to and then string, and now I get surname, right, included. Okay. And every time we have to do that when we add a new field. So what we can do is actually get rid of this just like that. And if I put this full screen, and then let me go up, and I don't need this surname field right here. And what we're going to do is use Lombok. So here I'm going to say at, and then to, and then string. And you can see it's the first one. So now we have the toString for us. So let's have a look. So here we have two constructors. So this constructor has all arguments. And if we add a new field or a new property, we also have to update the constructor. So what we're going to do is, so in here, I'm going to say at, and then all args constructor. And basically now you can see that this is red, and that's because this is defined in here. So in scenarios where we don't have the all args constructor is where we, for example, know that the ID, for example, will be generated by the database. So we can get rid of it just like that. There we go. And now we have an extra constructor. So currently Lombok doesn't allow us to do this, where we can exclude a certain field. So we can leave this constructor in here. But that is only if you need a constructor like this. But in our case, you can see that this is not being used. So I'm going to delete it. Just like that. And in here, we have the no args constructor. I'm going to delete it as well. And here, I'm going to say at no, and then arg constructor. And finally, we can use the at, and then equals, and hash code. So this is for performing equals checks. For example, when comparing two objects are the same. And I'm going to show you in a second another annotation which can replace most of these things. So if I scroll down, and there you have it. So for these getters and setters, I'm not going to do it because we have some custom annotations in here. But let's move on to, let's, for example, move on into the exception class. Or actually, let's move into the customer service. So here, so we have the constructor in here, and this is a all arg constructor, so we can get rid of it. Just like that. And remember, the at auto wide is optional. And here I'm going to say at, and then all args constructor. And there we go. So you see that problem fixed. Right here, I can also say at, and then SLA4J. And now I can get rid of this logger right here. And what we're going to do is say log. So lowercase log, and you can see that it picks that up. So this is awesome, right? So here the same, we're going to say log, and there we go. So let's actually carry on. So let's open up the project, and what do we have? We have basically the controller, so controller v2, and in this class here, we're going to get rid of this constructor, so get rid of that. And then here, I'm going to say at, and then all args constructor. Just like that, and problem solved. Let's move on to, exception. So API exception. And this one, what we're going to do is we're going to remove this constructor here, just like that. We're also going to remove all the getters, just like that. And we're going to remove the toString as well. And now what I can do, I can say at, and then data. So this is a special one. So what this will do, it will create the required arg constructors, toString, the setters, equals, and hash code. And if the fields weren't final, it would have also generated the getters. So have a look. This class now, it's super clean. So let's carry on. So here we have the API exception handler. So here, what do we have in here? So we have the logger, and we're actually not using this logger. So let's just get rid of it. But if you want the logger, you can say at and then SLA4J. And in this class, we are good. So let's open up the, so basically API request exceptions. So these are exceptions. So info app. So in here. So again, let me just do this. So basically we can get rid of all of this right here. Let's get rid of all of that. And the reason why I want to teach you this last is because this is like, this is some cleanup, but it's good for you to learn the proper way of doing things. And then once you know, you can start using these libraries. So here, add, and then data. There we go. And you can see that this is super clean now. So if I open a project and we have the JSON placeholder, so this is where we used OpenFA. So in our post, we can also get rid of all of this. So this is boilerplate code. So all of this, and then say add, and then data. And finally, so let me see the configuration. So the configuration is fine. And you can see that now we removed a bunch of boilerplate code with Lombok. So this is why people love this library. So now let's go ahead and start the application and see that it actually works. So we want to make sure that we didn't break anything. So here, let's run the application. So open demo and then application. And there we go. Application started successfully. So let's open up the resources folder. Let me open up the data. So I want to add some data into our database first. So here, so localhost, and then which profile are we using? So let's just double check. So in here, if I scroll up, we are using the prod profile. So remember prod profile. So prod profile, and this is using YAML. So this is the URL. So go back in here and then 80/h2, and I think it was dev, but we didn't actually update, and we actually have everything there because I was accessing before, and then the password was hello, test the connection, and then I'm going to add all of the SQL that I've just copied and then run. And you can see that inserts, they did work. And in here, let's go ahead and try. So this was the actuator. So this was API and then v2 / and then customers, and then send. And ta-da. So let me actually do it through here. So localhost 8080 API v2 and then customers, and check this out. So this is working beautifully. If we try actuator, so actuator, you can see that this works, and basically the application is working as before. You can see the status is up. So there we go. I just wanted to show you Lombok in action. Lots of people love it, and I'm sure you now love Lombok. Right, so you've just learned about Lombok, but let me tell you that we had to use, for example, this annotation right here in order to have the getters, setters, toString, hash code, and all of that, right? So luckily for us, if you are using the latest version of Java, Java has what's known as a record type. And basically, we can actually get rid of this annotation and use Java natively. So this is not Spring Boot specific. I just thought that I would let you know that you can actually use Java instead of using the Lombok annotation in here. So within IntelliJ, I'm going to press Command and then semicolon, and you can see the keyboard shortcut down below. And here I'm going to change my project language level to 15 preview, and you can see records in here. And also I'm going to go to modules and then change that to preview. Then I'm going to say apply, OK. Now you can see that IntelliJ is smart enough to tell us that this class can be a record. So let me get rid of this annotation. And now here, I'm going to convert into a record. Now you can see that it's telling me that the public record accessor will be weakened in visibility. So for all of these fields, that's fine. I'm going to say continue. And now we have a record. So let me actually go back for a second. So basically this is the record, right? So this is the record with no arguments. But what I want is actually, so basically let's do this manually because auto-completion did not work. And what we're going to do is the following. We're going to say public, and then instead of class, we're going to say record. And then here, so let me put this full screen. So here we're going to take this string right here and then put it here, comma, and then throwable, and then the HTTP status, and then finally the zone datetime, and just like that. And now I can get rid of this. So you can see that this works. Nice. So let's actually go to customer, and in here, this will be a little bit different for us to use the record because this class is a bit special. We have all of these annotations going on. So we're going to use Lombok as fine, and also within the service. So here for the service, Lombok is absolutely fine to use, right? Because we want the SLA for J and all args constructor. So we can't really use a record for a service class. So the record is mainly used for POJOs. And what I want to show you is in this class right here, so configuration, we can't use the record in here because the record gives us a private final field, getter for each field, public constructor equal hashcode and toString. So it gives us all of that, right? But this class here cannot be final because we are using this annotation right here, at and then properties. So if I was to change this to a record, so if I was to say record here, and then if I was to take, so let me just take a string and then name. So I just want you to see that you need to be careful when using record, right? It's not going to work with everything. So here you can see that basically the error is telling me that. So let me just remove that data there. And here you can see classes annotated with add configuration could be implicitly subclassed and must not be. So basically it says make info app not final. And with records, we can't do it, right? So the purpose of record is to achieve immutability. So here we have to use Lombok. Just like that. And there we go. So hopefully now you know the difference between Lombok and the record class. So record class gives us, let me just add the list here. So private and then final and then getters, public constructor equals hashcode and toString. So let me just put here toString as well and toString. So let me actually put this comment right here so you know exactly what the differences are. So paste that in and there we go. So this is all for this section. If you have any questions, go ahead and let me know. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts about Lombok and record classes in Java. and let me know whether you are using them and whether you like them or not. This is all for now. Don't forget to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and I'll catch you on the next one. Assalamu alaikum.
What's going on, guys? Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Amigoscode, and in this Spring Boot Masterclass course, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know in order to secure your next job as a Java software engineer. Spring Boot is used throughout the industry, and if you want to become a software engineer and understand how exactly we build software, then this is the right course for you. In this course, I want to make sure that you understand exactly how to start from the foundation and then walk your way through the most important aspects of building applications. In this course, we're going to kick off things by understanding exactly what Spring Boot is, and then we're going to dive into Spring MVC, how to properly build your RESTful APIs, the naming conventions behind building APIs, so versioning, API version 1, version 2, so that as you upgrade your APIs, you don't break existing clients. We're going to touch on exception handling. We're going to also touch on logging, OpenFA, which is an awesome REST client, Java bean validation for validating requests using annotations at your beans. We're also going to touch upon Spring Data JPA, so how to connect to a real database, dependency injection, beans, understand exactly how to structure your applications with Spring Boot, testing, Spring profiles, packaging up your application, whether it's a jar file or a Docker image. We're going to cover all of that, and also how to use Lombok to remove boilerplate code. If you are serious about becoming a software engineer, then you should enroll to this course, as many of my students have gained real knowledge and went and secured jobs by taking this exact same course. I'm super excited to teach you, and without further ado, let's kick off this course and I'll see you inside.